Hello everyone, and welcome to my CBS YNR Full Today channel. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Have you ever seen someone turn on their savior so fast it makes your head spin? Well, that is exactly what Newman just did to Phyllis Summers, and honestly, it's hard to watch. Think about it for a second. Phyllis literally just saved Nick's life. He was lying there, having a near-fatal overdose on painkillers, and she was the one who stepped up. You'd think he'd be sending her flowers or at least a heartfelt thank you note, right? But no, this is Genoa City, and the Newmans don't do gratitude the way normal people do. Instead of a thank you, Nick gave her a legal death threat. He basically told her, "Thanks for the life-saving CPR, now give me my company back or I'm calling the cops to have you arrested." It makes you wonder, was this really just about business, or has Nick's brush with death turned him into someone we don't even recognize anymore? Is the White Knight of the Newman family officially dead and gone? The funny thing is, Nick has always been the one we look to as the moral compass of the family. He's the guy who usually walks away from Victor's ruthless games because he wants to be a better man. But right now, he's sounding more like Victor than Victor himself. We saw them at the GCAC, and it started out okay. He thanked her, he was breathing, he was alive. But then the switch flipped. He told her she isn't keeping Newman Enterprises. He even went so far as to say he's going to tell the Las Vegas PD that she was knowingly harboring a criminal. Can you believe the nerve? Phyllis pointed out the obvious, she saved his life. She looked at him and asked, "Who are you?" And that is the question of the year. Who is this guy? Is this the addiction talking, or is he just tired of being the nice guy who finishes last? Well, let's look at the psychology of it for a minute. Nick is coming off a massive trauma. An overdose isn't just a physical thing, it's a total ego collapse. He's probably feeling incredibly weak and vulnerable, and for a Newman, vulnerability is like a poison. So, what does he do? He attacks. He finds the person he has leverage over, Phyllis, and he tries to crush her to make himself feel powerful again. It's a classic defensive move. He can't control his addiction, he can't control his family, but he can definitely try to control Phyllis. It's honestly kind of sad to see him sink this low. Do you think he's actually going to go through with it? Or is he just trying to scare her into submission? And while Nick is out here playing the villain, we've got Matt Clark having a total soul crisis. Now, if you've been watching for a while, you know Matt Clark is basically the bogeyman of Sharon and Nick's past. This is the guy who raped Sharon, framed Nick for murder, and has spent decades being a literal monster. But now, he's weeping in a gym. He's having these massive memory floods where he sees all the terrible things he's done, and it's breaking him. He actually said he wants to wash all of this off. It's such a weird thing to see. Usually, the villain gets his memories back and goes right back to being evil. But Matt seems genuinely horrified by his own history. He told Victor he'd do himself in before he ever went back to being that man. But here is the million-dollar question, can we really believe him? The head writer, Josh Griffith, says that redemption is absolutely possible for Matt if he shows remorse and atones for his sins. But atoning isn't just crying, it's action. Matt did one good thing, he helped save Nick. Does that one act of heroism wipe away years of rape and terror? In my opinion, no way. You can't just sorry your way out of that kind of damage. But you have to admit, Roger Howarth is playing the heck out of this broken man version of Matt. It makes you feel a tiny bit of sympathy for him, which is honestly impressive given his rap sheet. Do you guys think he deserves a second chance, or is he just a master manipulator who knows exactly which heartstrings to pull? The scene in the weight room with Victor was something else. Victor is the mustache for a reason, he doesn't fall for tears. He looked Matt right in the eye and asked him if he thought he should be punished. Matt didn't blink. He basically begged for a chance to prove he's changed. He told Victor to just tell him what to do. This is Victor's dream scenario, right? He's got the town's biggest villain groveling at his feet, ready to be his personal puppet. But there's a danger there too. Victor is harboring a fugitive himself now. If the cops find out Matt is at the ranch, Victor is in just as much trouble as Phyllis. It's a high-stakes game of chicken, and Victor is betting that he can control the chaos better than anyone else. Meanwhile, poor Sharon is just trying to process the fact that her rapist is living in her ex-husband's gym. She is, understandably, the biggest skeptic in town. She's seen Matt's transformations before. Remember when he came back as Carter Mills with a whole new face just to torment them again? She isn't buying the new soul act for a second. She wants him in prison, and honestly, can you blame her? It must be a literal living nightmare to have your trauma standing right in front of you, crying and asking for forgiveness. It's like the show is asking Sharon to be the bigger person, but why should she have to be? Her world has been rocked by this man over and over again. I think Sharon is the only one with her head on straight right now when it comes to Matt Clark. But then we have the total opposite energy over with Adam and Sally. This was such a breath of fresh air compared to the toxic mess at the ranch. Adam found Sally in the park and they had this really honest, really raw talk about her pregnancy. Adam admitted he was sad, not because she's pregnant with Billy's baby, but because their own daughter, Ava, isn't here. It was such a human moment. He wasn't trying to win her back or sabotage her engagement to Billy. He was just being a guy who missed his kid. And Sally was so gracious about it. She told him he's a good dad in her dreams. It really highlights the difference between the Newman brothers right now. Nick is using his pain as a weapon to hurt Phyllis, while Adam is using his pain to connect with Sally. Who would have thought that Adam Newman would be the emotional adult in the room? He even told Sally that Billy will never be worthy of her. And let's be real, he's probably right. But he said it with a sense of sadness, not malice. It shows how much he's grown. He's accepting that Sally has moved on, even if it hurts. Do you think Adam can actually stay this reformed? Or is it only a matter of time before he reverts back to his old ways? And then we have to talk about Nikki. While everyone is fighting over companies and fugitives, Nikki is dealing with these massive, scary headaches. Victoria is starting to get really worried, and for good reason. Nikki has MS, so any new symptom like this is a red flag. But typical Nikki, she's so focused on Nick's addiction and the family drama that she's ignoring her own health. It's that classic motherly instinct to put everyone else first, but it feels like the show is setting us up for a major medical crisis. If Nikki collapses, it's going to force Nick to wake up and stop this petty war with Phyllis. Nothing brings the Newmans together like a health scare, right? But back to the main event, Nick's threat to Phyllis. Here's the kicker, Nick is accusing her of harboring a fugitive, but the Newmans are doing the exact same thing right now. Matt Clark is literally on their property. Nick argued that Phyllis was worse because she paid to put him in a hotel suite. That is such Newman logic. It's okay if we do it because we're the Newmans, but if you do it, it's a crime. It's that level of entitlement that makes you want to reach through the screen and shake some sense into him. Phyllis has every right to be fuming. She risked her own neck to help the Newmans find Matt, and then she saved Nick's life on top of it. And this is her reward? A potential prison sentence? If Nick actually calls the Las Vegas PD, it's going to be a point of no return for Fick. They've survived affairs, paternity scandals, and even the death of a child, but this feels different. This feels like Nick is choosing the company and his own ego over the woman who has always been there for him. And let's talk about Summer for a second. Summer is their daughter. How is she going to feel when she finds out her dad tried to have her mom arrested right after her mom saved his life? It's going to tear the family apart in a way that might be impossible to fix. Is a company really worth losing your daughter's respect? Nick seems to think so, but I think he's going to regret this big time. Now, let's talk about the spoilers for Wednesday, because things are about to get even more intense. Victor is going to declare victory. He thinks he's handled everything. He thinks Nick is on the path to recovery and Matt is under control. But the spoilers say his celebration is dangerously premature. That usually means something big is about to blow up in his face. Maybe Matt's memories aren't the only thing coming back. What if Matt is faking the whole remorse thing? What if he's just waiting for the perfect moment to strike from inside the ranch? That would be the ultimate Matt Clark move. He's always been at his most dangerous when he's playing the victim. And what about Phyllis? She's not just going to sit around and wait for the handcuffs to click. She's already turning to Michael Baldwin for help. She fired him a few days ago, but now she's basically begging him to clear her name. Michael is in a tough spot. He's a Newman lawyer, but Phyllis is his best friend. If he takes her case, he's going to have to go head-to-head with Victor and Nick. That is going to be some top-tier courtroom drama. Do you think Michael will actually turn his back on the Newmans to save Phyllis? I hope so, because she definitely needs an ally right now. The funny thing about this whole redemption arc for Matt is how it mirrors Nick's own struggle. They are both men with dark pasts who are trying to convince the world they are better now. But while Matt is being humble and weeping, Nick is being arrogant and aggressive. It's a total role reversal. The show is asking us to consider if a vicious human being like Matt can change, while at the same time showing us a good man like Nick turning into a monster. It's a brilliant piece of writing, honestly. It makes you question what good and bad even mean in Genoa City anymore. Can we talk about the history here for a second? For the newer fans who might not know, Matt Clark's rivalry with Nick goes all the way back to the mid-90s. He dated Sharon first, then Nick stole her, and Matt went on a rampage of revenge. He raped Sharon to destroy her relationship with Nick. He even yanked out his own breathing tube in the hospital just to frame Nick for his murder. This isn't just some guy who stole a car, this is a man who dedicated his entire life to making Nick and Sharon suffer. So when Nick looks at him and sees a broken man crying, it's no wonder he's confused. He's wanted this guy gone forever, but now he's wondering if the man he hated is already dead. But that doesn't excuse how he's treating Phyllis. It just doesn't. You can be confused about Matt Clark without being a jerk to the woman who saved your life. It feels like Nick is displacing all his anger toward Matt and himself onto Phyllis because she's an easy target. He can't punch Matt anymore because Matt is too pathetic to hit, and he can't punch himself for the overdose, so he's punching Phyllis with legal threats. It's cowardly, and it's a huge step back for a character who has spent years trying to get out from under Victor's shadow. Looking forward, I think we're heading toward a massive collision. We've got Matt Clark's ticking time bomb of a brain, Nick's addiction issues, Phyllis's desperation, and Nikki's health crisis all swirling together. Something has to give. My prediction? Matt is going to do something heroic that costs him everything. Maybe he takes the fall for Phyllis, or maybe he saves Nick again during another relapse. But I also think he's going to get his full memories back and realize that he can't live with the man he used to be. It's a tragic setup, but it's the only way a character as dark as Matt Clark can truly atone. And what about the corporate side of things? Is Phyllis really going to hand over Summers' conglomerate just to stay out of jail? Knowing Phyllis, she's got a plan C. She's probably already digging up dirt on Nick's drug use to use as counter-leverage. If she can prove he was high while making these threats, or that the Newmans are also harboring Matt, she can blow the whole thing wide open. Phyllis is a survivor. She's been in tighter spots than this, and she always finds a way to crawl out of the wreckage. I wouldn't count her out just yet. So, here's what I want to know from you guys. First, are you Team Nick or Team Phyllis in this? Is Nick right to use any means necessary to get his family company back, or is he being a total hypocrite for threatening the woman who saved his life? And second, let's talk about Matt. Do you actually believe he's changed? Or is this just another one of his sick games? I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions in the forums, and I want to know where you stand. Leave a comment below and let's get a debate going because this is the most exciting YNR has been in months. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Newman drama, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. We are covering every single twist and turn of this story, and you don't want to miss our next video where we'll be breaking down Wednesday's explosive fallout. Smash the like button if you think Phyllis should tell Nick exactly where he can put his legal threats. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one for more Genoa City chaos. Wait, before I go, one last thing to think about. If Matt Clark is telling the truth and he really would do himself in before going back to the man he was, what does that mean for the Newmans? If he commits suicide at the ranch, Victor and Nick are going to have a lot of explaining to do to the police. It would be the ultimate last laugh for Matt Clark, to die and take the Newmans' reputation down with him. Is that his real plan? Is this whole remorse thing just a setup for one final act of revenge? It's dark, I know, but with Matt Clark, you can never rule out the worst-case scenario. And don't forget about Nikki's headaches. If that turns into something serious like a stroke or an MS relapse, the whole dynamic at the ranch changes instantly. Nick will be forced to stop his revenge tour against Phyllis and actually be a son for once. Maybe that's what it takes to bring him back to reality. It's a high price to pay, but in Genoa City, redemption usually comes with a heavy cost. We'll be keeping a close eye on Nikki's storyline because it feels like the real heart of what's coming next. Okay, now I'm really done. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the comments section. Let's talk about it, Nick, Phyllis, Matt, and the mustache. Who's winning this war? I can't wait to hear your theories. See you next time. Wait, let's actually talk about the Roger Howarth of it all for a second more. Bringing him back as Matt Clark was a stroke of genius. Most fans were expecting him to stay as Mitch Bacall, but making him the new version of the town's most hated villain adds so many layers to the story. It forces the characters to deal with their past in a way they haven't had to in decades. It's not just a new threat, it's an old ghost that refuses to stay dead. And seeing Roger play a man who is literally afraid of himself? That is some next-level acting. It makes you wonder if the show is trying to make us forgive the unforgivable. Is that even possible? It's a bold move by the writers, and I'm here for it. And let's not overlook the Noah and Sienna factor. They are caught right in the middle of this. Sienna seems to be the only one who truly wants to help this new Matt, but that's putting her at odds with Noah and the rest of the Newmans. If she stays by Matt's side, she's going to lose Noah forever. It's a tragic choice for her to make. Does she help a man who might be truly suffering, or does she stay loyal to the man she loves? It's another great emotional layer to this story that often gets overlooked by the big Nick and Phyllis drama. Alright, that is truly all the time we have for today. Seriously, go comment now. I'm dying to know what you think about Nick's dark turn. Has he finally become his father? Or is there still a chance for him to find his way back to the light? Let me know. Wait, one more thought, what about the AI program Victor used to bankrupt Matt? That was such a high-tech move for Victor. It shows that even in the modern age, the mustache is still ahead of everyone else. If he can use AI to wipe out a man's life in minutes, what else is he capable of? It adds a whole new level of Big Brother energy to the Newman Ranch. Imagine if Victor starts using that technology on his own family to keep them in line. It's a scary thought, but totally within character for him. Okay, I'm stopping now. For real. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Actually, let's think about the legal side one more time. Nick is threatening Phyllis with harboring a fugitive, but Matt was technically dead until October. How do you harbor someone who is legally deceased? The legal loopholes in Genoa City are wide enough to drive a Newman jet through. It's going to be fascinating to see how Michael Baldwin handles that one. Your Honor, my client couldn't have harbored a fugitive because the fugitive didn't officially exist. It sounds ridiculous, but in the world of soaps, it's a perfectly valid defense. And that's the beauty of The Young and the Restless. It takes these wild, impossible situations and makes us care about the people caught in the middle. Whether you love her or hate her, you have to feel for Phyllis right now. She did the right thing and it's blowing up in her face. And whether you think he's a hero or a villain, you have to admit that Nick is more interesting right now than he has been in years. This dark Nick arc is a gift to the fans, and I can't wait to see where it goes.